Okay, this is a podcast of sorts, but this is one of those controversial uh, videos and controversial comments that I make that gets me in trouble. Um, I don't stop doing it because it's the truth, and really don't care what people think. Uh, the, the important thing is to get the information out. And so this podcast is concerned about human nature. Uh, Maggie has human traits. Maggie, the dog, the picture. So, but there's a difference between animals, domestic animals, uh, and and humans, um, and that is that while Maggie, the dog, is willing to be led from situation to situation, accepting whatever it is that her humans um, thrust upon her, there is a point uh, where she will no longer accept um, the situation. In other words, what her animal instinct is that she won't accept a certain set of circumstances, and those circumstances are if she perceives that there is a threat to Barb, my wife. Now, that's animal instinct, um, and she will defend Barb to the death without hesitation, no thought about it. People aren't like that. If you as a person are willing to be led from situation to situation, um, and accept those situations because there's nothing you can do about it, human nature is that you won't defend yours, what is yours, and uh, what you are on this earth to protect. You will make excuses. Um, you'll be willing to negotiate. Uh, you'll try all kinds of different things. But when push comes to shove, you will be led from situation to situation and accept it as a matter of course. Yeah, we got a cat too. Uh, and, but the cat's a Democrat. So, I know that's political. It's the ideology, okay? They'll openly accept uh, the change, trying to get more power and, thinking that there's somebody. I mean, the cat thinks she runs the household. When in actuality, one bite from the dog and she's dead. Or we put her outside and she's on her own. Or whatever. But, yeah, that mentality. So, this is not the time for you to be willing to be led to new situations and accept them because you think there's nothing you can do about it. And that's what this channel is all about. You've got to get outside of your safety zone at some point or another. Um, this country was founded by a whole lot of dead patriots fleeing the tyranny, of the British Empire. So, and that's what we're headed into now. In my lifetime, I've seen socialization, that form of government, creep into our society more and more every day. And now we're at the precipice. We have to make a choice. But because most people will accept whatever situation is presented to them by what seems like the authority, then that eliminates that choice. You just accept whatever it is that the government says you have to do. And we've seen that during this pandemic thing, which is not really a pandemic. Back in not that long ago with the SARS virus, SARS-1 and SARS-2 and all that kind of stuff, a whole lot more people died than they did with this coronavirus that's going around. By the way, the common cold is the coronavirus. And if you have a cold, you're building up an immunity to the coronavirus. See what I mean about the cat? You know, I just tried to push her off the table. She won't go. She owns it. She's a Democrat, I'm telling you. Anyway, so what Barb and I, now Barb is a pretty smart lady. And, you know, I have some skills, but we're both old, so we can reflect. But when something like a new administration is elected by the general population, which it really wasn't, but it's accepted, you'll accept it, and you know, a whole bunch of stuff that puts us right in the crosshairs. You know, we were a capitalist country heading towards socialism because that's the way republics go. We're a constitutional republic. That's the way republics go throughout history. History does not repeat, but it rhymes. It can't repeat because of the passage of time. And we can get into the physics if you want to, but you know, it's kind of a nonsensical effort. People won't understand it. The thing is that now we're at a point where instead of going to more socialism towards communism, we're headed toward authoritarianism. And that's the way it always goes. Before there's revolution, and you can see it in the United States, there are lines being drawn right now between conservative states and liberal states. And that's the way it's going to go. Now, what are you going to do? That's my question. My question to you is, what are you going to do? I'm going to present you with information that's going to help you as an individual to make individual decisions, not to be led from situation to situation. There'll be very few of you who are interested in that. Human nature never changes. Follow the herd, safety in numbers, all that kind of stuff. All right, I just wanted to throw it out there because, you know, this is one of those controversial things, and it's exclusive to SmokyMountainOffGrid.com. It's not going to be on YouTube or any of that stuff because that'd be censored. So this is what we're looking forward to, right? Day after tomorrow, we're headed to the Homestead. Do some more clearing up there. I'm going to lay out the site for the guest house. What I'm trying to do is get the storm damage cleared enough where I can get an excavator in there, and then I'll, you know, clear out, dig up stumps, all that kind of stuff, and get everything done. Dig the holes for the footers, for the piers, and all that kind of stuff. I also have to clear a bigger path back to the sawmill, and either bring the sawmill out to where we're going to be building. I mean, there's 8,000 board feet of downed, wind-damaged southern yellow pine out there in the front of the property, which is where we're building the guest house. And so I just want, I'm either going to have to bring the sawmill there, or I'm going to have to drag the logs back to the sawmill, where it is currently. And that's quite a ways back, so I think it'll be easier to move the sawmill, which means I have to dismantle it. So it's, you know, it's going to take a while, and you know, it takes me, it literally takes me 10 times longer to do stuff than it did just 2 years ago. So Barb and I are not accepting the way that our society is headed, the way that our government is headed. We're law-abiding citizens. We're not gonna try to buck the system, but we are gonna try to game the system. Oh, that's a subject for a whole nother podcast, a whole nother video, because that's what politicians do. They game the system that already exists in order to get additional power or money or influence or whatever it is that goes through their narcissistic heads. You know, politicians are just people who were never successful in life. And that's another subject for another thing that I would get scrutinized about. So stay tuned to this stuff. I'll be putting out things, you know, when I get a chance. Right now, you know, we're in a lull period. We're waiting for surgery for Barb's eye, but we have to get clearance from the cardiologist, which is, you know, 2 or 3 weeks away from now. So we're working on some projects, and we've got a project line, a product line lined up for some new products, but it all revolves around the off-grid homestead. Okay, you know, I said that in previous videos, but they're on YouTube. And let me explain that. I'm going to take a minute to do that, and I know that most of you who watch, you know, this podcast think it's a waste of your time, and that's fine with me. I'm not interested in the notoriety. But there are people in this world that are willing to work and do things to protect themselves and their family and to provide for their family. Those are the people I want to get the information out to. It's not as hard as you think, but you have to break the cycle of human nature. So, I've been on doing blogs and podcasts and videos, and I've been writing articles since 2010. And I had a channel. I think it's still out there. Not a channel. It's a blog. I think it's still out there from the early days. And I posted on that blog. The name of the blog, by the way, is This Old Man's House. It's this old man's, plural, house .blogspot.com. Now, I think it's still out there. But, so in 2011 and 12, 10, 11, 12, it's all about a building project in South America. Because we originally retired there. And so if you look at it, you can see all the stuff in Ecuador, right? But all of a sudden, when I started doing videos and posting them to the blog, you see, I was new to all this stuff. I was just, you know, posting pictures and writing articles and that, and I started putting videos up. From that point, that was in 2012, I think. From that point until today, every single video is taken down on YouTube. So when when I say that I get shadow banned and I get stuff removed from YouTube, that's what I'm talking about. And all of those videos covered projects that we did. We built a tiny house on a trailer in North Carolina in order to stay on the property to build a house. We built a bungalow in North Carolina. The start of and the building of the homestead that we have now, all that stuff is gone. As I said before, we're not accepting of the current situation and where it's headed. So, but we've been way ahead of the curve ever since 2010, way ahead of the curve. Could see this coming from a mile away, and here it is 10, 11 years later, and we're in the middle of it. And it's not going to end well, except for people who can think outside the box, who don't accept being led and accepting whatever the situation is. All right, I think I've made the point, maybe. We'll see what happens. All right, so that's all I got for this time, so until next time. Toodaloo.